500 hours, 21 days without food. Water, electrolytes, black coffee, nothing else. Day 1, 14 stone, 13 pounds. Day 21, 12 pounds, 13 3/4. 26 pounds gone. 48 hours later, 13 stone 8 pounds back on in 2 days. Gout crystals that had been visible for 25 years vanished. Allergies that had been gone for 18 months returned. This is what actually happened when I fasted for 21 days and documented everything. The data, the setbacks, the surprises nobody warned me about. Full honesty, no filters. I started this journey on Boxing Day 2023 at 18 stone. Within 18 months, I'd lost 4.5 stone, come off all medications, asthma inhalers, statins, gout medication, allergy tablets, stopped needing them completely by February 2024, so within 2 months. But I wanted to go deeper, not just weight loss, but cellular repair. Extending fasting triggers something called autophagy. Your body becomes its own cellular recycling plant. Think of it like bins not taken out for a month. The smell builds, flies arrive, black bags pile up. That's your cells without autophagy. Junk proteins, damaged mitochondria, rubbish piling up. Fasting is the council round. The bin lorry finally turns up, clears the lot, hoses down the pavement. Professor Janet Lord from the University of Birmingham studies inflammaging, chronic low-level inflammation that drives dementia, heart disease, frailty. She's fasted weekly for 30 years. Her research shows fasting stimulates autophagy, drops inflammation and turns on anti-aging processes. I wanted that deep cellular cleanup. I also wanted to prove to myself that my body could heal when I gave it space. The original plan was 42 days. The reality, I stopped at 21. Here's why. Day 1 felt easier than expected. Energy steady, the anticipation was harder than the fast itself. Day 2, hunger came and went, normal waves. Your body's asking, are we eating? Not screaming emergency, just a question. Day 3, something shifted. Hunger eased instead of amplifying. Every previous fast, day 3, had broke me or made it really hard, but not this time. 18 months of regular fasting had trained my body. Metabolic flexibility does compound. Your body's like a car with 2 fuel tanks, glucose and fat. Most people spend their entire lives running on glucose only. Fasting forces the switch. First 48 hours, you're running on fumes. Day 3, the engine stops spluttering, you're floating. Day 4, weight dropped 10 pounds. All of it was water. Stress from moving house had inflated my baseline. When you fast, cortisol releases, water dumps. First week, weight loss is theatre. Glycogen empties, water follows, inflammation drops. Real fat loss comes later. Day 6, the cat test. My neighbour's cat came and sat on my lap for 20 minutes. Now, I've 50 years of being allergic to cats, couldn't go near them without sneezing, itching, asthma. 20 minutes with a long-haired cat and I was absolutely smothered in fare. Zero reaction. Dr. Federica Admarti's work on inflammation explains this. Chronic inflammation, what she calls inflammaging, drives most health problems. Fasting drops that inflammation hard. Allergies are inflammation. Fix the root cause, symptoms vanish. Day 8, physically drained. Energy dropped to 2 out of 10. This was a barbecue day. Kebabs, burgers, sausages, cakes. Biggest temptation of the entire fast. Old pattern, I would have grabbed a plate automatically. A new pattern, I kept my head down, stayed focused. Want versus need. My body didn't need the food. I chose need. Day 9, exhausted. 4.5 hours sleep. Energy was lousy. But emotionally, I was steady. Mood a 7 out of 10, even though I was knackered. Sleep disruption is common, day 7 to 10. Your body's shifting hormones. Not a problem, just adaptation. Day 10, the wall broke. Energy came back. Mental clarity was really sharp. Now, this is where most people quit unnecessarily. They hit the day 10 dip and think this isn't working. It's adaptation. You can push through. Day 11, glucose was 54, ketones were 6. My GKI, the glucose ketone index, was 0.5. That's therapeutic ketosis, the level used in cancer treatment protocols. I wasn't sick, I was optimizing. GKI below 1 is rare. Your body's running primarily on fat and ketones. Cellular autophagy is active. This is where the real housekeeping happens. Damaged proteins recycled, mitochondria is repaired, and inflammation is cleared. Day 15, scale showed half a pound loss only, but tape measure told the truth. My waist was down an inch, hips were down an inch, my thighs were down half an inch each, skin was slack all over. The scales lie short term, but the measurements don't. Day 17, ketones exceeded 8, the meter was maxed out, GKI dropped to 0.3. It's the deepest autophagy state I've ever recorded. Most people don't actually ever reach this. Professor Lord's research shows this is where anti-aging processes turn on. Inflammation drops, damaged cells get cleared. Your body becomes a cellular recycling machine. But here's what nobody warned you about. Day 18, Timothy grass test, sat in hay fever grass for over an hour. My absolute nemesis for decades. 18 months prior, I would have needed the full pharmacy. I had zero reaction, no itching, no rashes, no breathing issues. Day 19, I broke under 13 stone for the first time in 30 years. 5 stone had been lost since Boxing Day 2023. But sleep was becoming a real problem. 5 consecutive nights disrupted. Mental clarity sharp as a blade through day 14, then it started dipping. Not dramatically, just duller, and the fog crept in. Alan Aragon and Professor Sarah Berry's research shows sleep deprivation causes 200 to 300 extra calories per day in increased appetite normally. During a fast, it manifests differently. Mental fog, mood wobbles, recovery impairment. Day 21, I stopped. Not because I couldn't keep going, because the data was clear. The benefits had plateaued after day 14. Sleep disruption was affecting work, mental sharpness. The main reason I fast was compromised. 26.7 pounds were lost. My chest was down 1 3/4 inches. My waist was down 2.5 inches. GKI ranged from 2.1 on day 1 to 0.3 on day 17. Professor Lord's research confirms 7 to 14 days are optimal for most benefits. Beyond that, risk climbs. 10 to 14 days is the sweet spot. 21 days is the maximum that I would recommend. 42 days, for me, certainly not worth the risk. 12 stone, 13 3/4 pounds, day 21, end of the fast. 48 hours later, 13 stone, 8 pounds. 8 pounds back on. I'd done the research. I knew this was coming, but seeing the numbers, it stung. It felt like failure for a good 20-30 minutes. Here's the science. Alan Aragon's work explains it perfectly. The first week, weight gain is glycogen, plus water, not fat regain. Think of glycogen like 50 pounds in the glove box for car parks and coffees. Fasting emptied it. Now you're refilling it. 1 gram of glycogen holds 3 to 4 grams of water. That's the weight your muscles store. 300 to 500 grams of glycogens. Liver stores another 100 grams. Add it up, 400 to 600 grams of glycogen times 4 for water retention. That's 1,600 to 2,400 grams. 3.5 to 5.5 pounds just from glycogen refills alone. Add sodium from food, blood volume returning, gut contents, and boom, 5 to 8 pounds, 48 hours. It's expected, it's normal, it's not fat. Your digestive system's been on a 3-week holiday. You don't storm back into the office on Monday morning, you ease in. First meal, vegetable soup, warm, gentle, easy to digest. An hour later, poached egg on rye, light protein. By evening, you could have a normal-ish meal. Maybe a chicken, brown rice, vegetables. Dr. Federica Marti's research shows your gut lining needs time to adapt. Gentle foods help wake up digestive enzymes. Rush it, your gut goes on strike. 3 bowel movements day 1, no negative symptoms. Digestion waking up nicely. I'd planned this for weeks. 20 new fermented food recipes, kimchi, sauerkraut, pickled vegetables, kefir, all waiting from a refeed. Professor Tim Spector's research at King's College London shows fermented foods reduce inflammation differently than fibre alone. Different mechanisms, both essential. I eat fermented foods with every meal. Kimchi with eggs, sauerkraut with lunch, kefir smoothies. By day 7, my gut felt stronger than before the fast. 20 fermented varieties means 20 plus bacterial strains. More diversity equals better digestion. Mood regulation, appetite control. Fermentation isn't a fad, it's foundational. This is the bit nobody prepared me for. Gout for 25 years. Visible uric acid crystals built up on my big toe joints. Lumpy, uncomfortable. On day 24, which was Refeed day 3, I looked down. The crystals had all but disappeared. Not reduced, pretty much disappeared. I put on some Birkenstocks. I couldn't wear them for years. I walked for 4 miles that day. No pain, nothing. 25 years of crystal buildup was gone in 3 days of refeeding. Autophagy doesn't stop the moment you start eating. Dr. Amati's research shows it ramps down gradually. Your body's still processing cellular debris for days post-fast. The fast created the cleanup. The refeed provided nutrients for repair. Autophagy continued, clearing those old uric acid deposits. Over the next 6 days, taking this up to day 8, I was up 5 pounds. Then I lost 3 pounds over the next 4 days, which settled at a £2 gain from the fast end, so £10 overall, 13.10 throughout this. I maintained intermittent fasting. I started at 12.12 by day 7, naturally tightened it down 17.7, which is my average. Body didn't demand constant food, it adapted. My final weight after the refeed, 13 stone 10, which was £10 heavier than my lightest, but it was significantly lighter than when I started, and I felt really well. Week 3 of the refeed, we took on a grand dog for a week, a long-haired dachshund. Day 1 was fine. Day 2, I had a bit of a tight chest. By day 3, I had used my inhaler 3 times. It was the first time in 18 months, because that stung really, because I thought that allergies were behind me. Professor Lord's research on immune healing explains this. Chronic inflammation suppresses your immune system. When you reduce it, recovery starts, but it's not linear. Some systems heal faster than others. My gut healed fast. Gout crystals disappeared, but lungs, they are still repairing, and that's 18 months, 20 months later. Healing isn't a straight line. Bodies heal in a layer. No skin rashes this time, progress, but I still had respiratory problems. My system needed more time. So I probably had declared a victory on my lungs a bit too early. 10 days after ending the fast, I tried sit-ups. Day 1, I couldn't manage 1 rep. My core had frozen, literally, body locked. Day 2, managed a dozen, no warm-ups, it just worked. Dr. Andy Galpin's research on recovery shows glycogen depletion affects muscle groups differently. Day 1, my core muscles hadn't refilled enough glycogen, or they'd just forgotten what they were supposed to do, and the neural pathways needed to reconnect. Day 2, the system recalibrated. Don't judge your fitness return on 1 data point. Give it a couple of days at least. Measurements trumped the scale. Weight wobbled, measurements told the truth. Waist shrunk, thighs were thinning, clothes were fitting so differently. Fermented foods mattered, 20 varieties. Guts recovered faster than any previous refeed that I've done. Digestion stayed calm. Sleep, though, is non-negotiable. The 5 nights disrupted sleep affected mental clarity more than I expected. You can't outfast poor sleep. Eating windows compressed naturally, 12.12 down to 17.7 by day 7, and body regulated to appetite on real food. 21 days was too long for mental clarity. Benefits peaked around day 14. Beyond that, sleep was disrupted, mental sharpness had dipped, and the risks ramped up. Would I do a 21-day fast again? No. Would I do 10 to 14 days quarterly? Absolutely. 10 days really does hit the sweet spot. It's deep enough for really good autophagy, and it's short enough to avoid any major sleep disruption. And it's sustainable enough so that I can repeat it. The original 42-day plan, it's unnecessary. Not worth the risk. The benefits plateau, the risk climbs. Here's my maintenance rhythm now. 10-day fast, definitely 1 a year, possibly 2. They give you deep cellular cleanup without pushing into risky territory. 48 to 72 hour fasts, I would like to say that I'll be doing 1 of them every month. It keeps autophagy active and it's manageable around life. Daily, it'll be a 16.8, which for me will probably end up being a 17.7. Baseline rhythm, keeps insulin low, maintains metabolic flexibility. It's sustainable and it's repeatable, and that compounds over the years. Dr. Mindy Pelt's research shows metabolic flexibility improves with consistent rhythm, not heroic one-off efforts. Your body learns the pattern. Adaptation becomes automatic. 18 pounds gone, yes, but that's not why I did it. It was about proving to myself that my body could heal when I gave it space. That inflammation could be reversed. That allergies could disappear. That medication wasn't inevitable. And it worked mostly. Allergies did resurface slightly, but they'll continue healing. Gout crystals vanished after 25 years. Mental clarity sharpest felt in through day 14. Ketones maximum meter, GKI hit 0.3. But the lesson wasn't more fasting equals more healing. The lesson was healing has its own timeline, and pushing past your body's signals doesn't speed it up. Day 21, my body said, enough. I listened. And I think that's the real skill. Not how long you can push, but knowing when to stop. 18 pounds gone, allergies mostly reversed, gout crystals vanished after 25 years, mental clarity was so sharp until day 17. Would I do 21 days again though? No. Would I do 10 to 14? Yes. If you like the idea of fasting, the free 14-day rhythm reset guide will get you started nicely on how to do this. The link's in the description just below. This is my personal experience with extended fasting. Track daily, and I was informed by expert research. It's not medical advice. Extended fast beyond 72 hours should only be attempted under medical supervision, especially if you're on medication or have existing health conditions. Please speak to your GP first. If you are on medication, have a medical condition, and if you're pregnant, don't do an extended fast. It's not appropriate.